Well, happy Tuesday. So grateful to be in the land of the living and to have an opportunity to talk to my good friend. Um, I'm not sure what name is on the screen, but this is Mr. Kevin. Maybe that's his. Is that your like kind of religious name? Is that like like with religious significance?
So
Okay.
I spiritual, not religious in as much as spiritual. Right. So that's spiritual. There's a spiritual significance to the name, but yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I just noticed it. So I didn't know if someone crept in amongst us or if that was an actual name. If there is, throughout this our time together, you feel compelled to expound upon it and it gives our folks some level of freedom as a result of this, the symbolism of it, then I'm all for it because here at Terri Talks podcast show, Let's Talk, we are interested in, just exploring faith, finances, and freedom. And so, any opportunity that we have to bring that to our audience, sign me up all day long. And so, with that, welcome to the Terri Talks podcast show. Let's Talk, where we talk with real people about real challenges and solutions in real estate investing. This is your personal and financial development podcast. This is the channel that you should tap into for tips, tactics, and tools, not just for education purposes only. Right? They are educational purposes, but we want you to be positioned to execute. One of the things that you will hear me say often is that you get points for showing up, you get points for keeping your ears to the street, if you will, and consuming information, but you get manifestation from the education that you execute on. And so here we are more interested in you being able to execute, to be equipped to execute. And so we are grateful to be here with you one more time on another Tuesday to explore a few things. Let's make sure that our connection is good. I think so. Let me see.
I,
And so we are here today. If you saw the advertisement, let me see if I could get this chat going. And if you're here, what I would like for you to do is share this out. We're going to be giving you some tools to work with. And we want you to be able to share not just, my four and no more, but share with as many people as possible because it allows us to expose um, as many people as get allow exposure for as many people as possible. There is a saying that exposure leads to expansion, and in this day and time, which we'll talk a little bit about it today, it's important that you be exposed and that our folks be exposed to the right information that's going to help their today, their tomorrow, and generations to come. And so we welcome you and we ask that you go ahead and share this out. This is going to be a juicy one. And I know I say that every week. However, depending on what your expectations are, if you are trying to increase in your faith, if you're trying to increase in financial freedom, if you're trying to increase in your finances, that should be juicy. So, and that's what we're going to be delving into. So this is going to be a juicy one. Um, and so if that's what your expectation is, then my comment is spot on, right? And you can receive it in that vein. And so without further to do, we are going to jump in. We welcome Mr. Kevin back with us. Our title was From Paycheck to Prosperity. And, really just want to hone in on paychecks are the beginning, right? But they're not the ending. And there is so much available to us. And it's so much available for us to take advantage of, even in times of uncertainty and in chaos and confusion. But it's not, if it's available or not. It's how you position yourself to receive and then ultimately leverage it. And so tonight we want to, delve into a few things. And so, Mr. Kevin, for those who are new to our audience, can you just introduce yourself and then, take it away?
Yep. So Kevin Lewis, the owner of Promethean, which is a financial tech firm. We help small businesses get access to capital, and that means quite a few things. But we cut our teeth in the credit space. We help people build profiles both on the personal credit and the business credit side that will help them leverage debt financing and debt financing strategies. So we are consulting. We're not just going to help you build the platform, but we're going to help you devise a strategy for leveraging debt into assets. And we talk to our clients about good debt versus bad debt. And tonight I'm going to focus on, if you don't mind, Terry, I want to focus on personal credit and how to and some strategies around it. Not just the stuff that you can see on the internet, but some stuff that you might not have been exposed to and people are not talking about as frequently. I want to say to you guys, Terry Talks is a real talk podcast. We have real talk. As you guys can probably see, I'm sitting in my car because I've leveraged my way into some freedom. So I'm in a t-shirt, not because I don't respect the professionalism that Terry brings to this platform, but because I'm a real person and I've worked really hard to buy my freedom. And one of the things that I've done with my freedom is I've been on the beach all day. I've come off the beach to do this podcast. And that's not me bragging. That's simply saying, if we are having real talk, we want to talk to people about what they're really doing in life, right? And one of the biggest things in my life is buying my freedom, buying my way into freedom, having the freedom to be able to work or not work. And if I do work, work from wherever I'd like to in whatever I'd like to. So, you know, I remember many years ago when Russell Simmons was first starting out, he vowed that he was going to one of the ways that he was going to express his freedom is when he had a meeting, a business meeting, he was going to insist that everybody in the meeting wear sneakers. He got to that point. He will never do a meeting in a suit. You'll never see him in a suit in a meeting because that was one of his ways to express his freedom. And so one of the things that I've been able to do today is be on the beach all day, come do this podcast. And so that's why you see me informally, but I'm a human being and this shows my informal side. So I thank you for allowing me to have the space and room to do that.
Well,
So that's me.
let me just touch that a little bit, right? So first, thank you for sharing your time with us, right? And here I never there's no restrictions because that's what we want to show. We want to show the possibility, right? Sometimes we can get so closed in, boxed in, or just because the circles that we're in, be it in church circles, be it in French circles. I heard John Hope Bryan, I think he's one of the top billionaires. He said, if nine of your friends are broke, you're probably going to be the 10th one, right? And so oftentimes, especially in our community, we don't position ourselves to be around people who are in different income brackets, different socioeconomic statuses, want to do more. And I'm not going to, there's no condemnation over that. It's just not our default, especially depending on where we grow up at, and, how many of our family members grow up in the same space. Or, I always said this, that I believe there was a strategic design to keep us in certain areas so that we did not experience exposure and expansion, right? So you look at food deserts, you look at most public schools are, neighboring schools. When they put drugs in these neighborhoods, they're putting them in a specific neighborhood. And even people who don't live in the neighborhood come to these neighborhoods to keep things concentrated in these neighborhoods. And I can say that because I worked in law enforcement. And so there's not something that I'm making up. It's something that I know to be true. And so what that does, though, it limits access, it limits an appetite for more. Right. And so the reason why we're here, not only just to give you an education, but we also want to bring encouragement and empowerment with the education so that you can be equipped to execute. This is why it's so important, y'all, to not just consume this information alone. In fact, right now, for those who are listening, you should be sharing this link out. If you share and make everything else go viral, this is the thing, especially if you want your circle to reflect where you're trying to go, right? Because if iron is going to sharpen iron, then you need to be consistently around iron that can sharpen you. And I'll say this, and then Mr. Kevin, I want you to jump in with what we were discussing backstage. But iron is the only metal that, when left alone, rusts out very quickly. So it is super important to make sure your iron is being sharpened with other iron so that you don't rust out quickly. Right?
Mhm.
You don't believe me? Go look up metals, and then you'll get the answer. So right now we should be sharing out because we are going to be giving you some tips, some tactics, and tools that can help you increase in your faith, that can help you increase in your finances so that you can increase financially. We want to see you as a whole, and what we have determined collectively. We're just not going to talk about it, we're going to be about it. And so we're using our summer to really kind of drill down where culturally we spend the most and then have buyer's remorse in the fall. We're trying to get ahead of that so that you don't have to experience that, or this will be the last year that you experience it. What we want you to experience collectively is financial freedom and independence. We want you to be able to achieve passive and residual income where you're not living check to check, where you don't have to give up your sweat, blood, and tears to get a check, right? We want you to be able to be sitting on the beach and hearing ching ching because you have things that's working in the market for you, not you working for it, right? We want you to be able to establish legacy and generational wealth. Right now, there is, and I have to be careful about what I say, but there is an all out, I mean, and it's not even hidden, it's not being, these aren't things that's happening behind closed doors. These aren't things that people are secretively trying to jam through a process. No, there has is blatant now because of things that have been widely accepted by people, right? And so people are overtly and inadvertently going to experience some casualty as a result of laws being changed, districts, being redistrict. And if you're not following, if you didn't follow Jerry Mandering up until this point, you need to know, right? And you need to know how it affects you. There are a whole takeover in Washington D.C. A federal takeover in law enforcement where there used to be respect for state jurisdictions because there are three levels of government. There is federal, state, and local. And there used to be integrity. It used to be jurisdictional integrity, right? But when you accept one thing and you think it's just going to blow over without looking at the long-term effects that it'll have, or looking at things in context like Project 2025, then you get these things and they told you so, right? But it's starting in one state, but no doubt is going to filter into another state, not because of the reasoning being given, all because somebody don't like leaders of a particular state, or they're trying to stay in power. Now, these aren't things that we traffic in fear, especially as believers. And when you are educated and when you are equipped, it ain't about a whole lot of nothing, right? And so much as so that you can insulate yourself from these things. However, you still need to have a working understanding of how all of these things are interconnected and how it plays a major part in the places that are critical in our lives, money and finances, because money answers all things. It dictates where we're able to go, what we're able to do, who we're able to spend time with, where we're able to live, what we're able to do to prepare for the future. And so we are, putting these things out there, and we're connecting the dots for you so that you can be ahead of it, so that you can, each one reach one to teach one. And so this is why it's super important to gather around the table, come and have these talks with us, because it's not just something we decided that, we woke up one day and said, well, we're just going to do this and see what sticks. No, we are intentional about it sticking, so that our lives financially can be enriched. We can experience stability, wellness, and security, not just for today, but for years and generations to come. Amen walls. My hats back there are saying amen. So with that, Mr. Kevin, can you jump in? Because I'll keep on going.
Yeah. So you alluded to it. I'm gonna parrot your sentiment. So yes, as you guys know, there's been a declaration of martial law, with tantamount to martial law in Washington D.C. And how does that relate to our financial conversation? So tonight, want to talk about the personal credit space. Most people are familiar with all of the information that's on the internet, right? They can tell you what goes into calculating your credit score, the FICO factors. People can tell you what a good credit score is. They can tell that's not news. That's not a revelation. What I want to talk to you guys about is changing the mindset from credit being the goal to credit being the tool, and how that plays a role in what's going on in Washington. So a lot of people aren't, if you follow the money, this is a money play. What's going on around the country is a money play, right? It's a way for, when you strip it all away, it's a way for people to gain land, to gain assets, to take those things out of our communities and put them back into where they believe the rightful hands. Now, this is not a political podcast, not coming to talk about where your beliefs are politically. But if you follow the money, you will see that all of these things are plays for financial power. And so it is imperative that you put yourself in the direct path of some of the benefit. Whether you like the new regime or not, there are some laws that are being passed that can impact you or will impact you positively if you can take advantage of them. Some of them will impact you negatively. The first thing that I want to bring to mind is that they pretty much disbanded the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. For those who are not familiar with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, that is a governmental agency that is the watchdog for several different entities. One of them being, they are the watchdog for the three major credit bureaus that you guys know: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So you have, as a consumer, there were laws passed to protect you. You have the right to dispute what's on your credit report. However, That organization, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, was the organization that you could go to if you disputed some things on your credit report and as inaccurate, and they indeed were inaccurate, and those credit bureaus did not remove those inaccuracies or correct those inaccuracies. That organization is all but skeleton crew. So your complaints are going unnoticed, and as such, you are having to be vigilant about your credit. What does that mean to you, Terry? What that means to you is if you are working to get to a 790 credit score because you just like the way a 790 credit score looks, it is going to be much more difficult. Not impossible, just much more difficult. And I don't come to bring doom and gloom. I come to bring solutions. So the thing is, I've got people who are saying, well, Kevin, I'm at a 690 right now, but I just want to be at a 750, 755, 780. And the reason I want to be there is because it looks good. I just feel good about having great credit. And my thought is, yeah, credit's not a goal. It is a tool. You want to have good credit so that you can leverage your way into assets, right? And an asset is anything that brings you more money than it costs you to maintain. So if you go out and leverage your 680 credit, 690 credit into a building that you can rent out, then you've got now people who are paying for the debt that it cost you. Let's say you went and got, I'll do what most people can recognize is a mortgage. Let's say you got a mortgage on that building for $500,000, but you are making $1 million net profit off of that building in rents every year, right? You are now able to pay the debt that you are acquiring to get that asset, right? Why is that important with what's going on in DC? Well, here's the thing. If you don't own it, you are subject to somebody else telling you what you can do with it. So you can best believe that people that don't own property in DC but are living there and renting, particularly people that are in lower income communities, yeah, you're being moved out. You're getting moved out. And they're moving you out because they are saying, this is our land, not your land, right? They are making that declaration. This is our land. This is not your land. But if you have ownership, you can put yourself in a place that says, hey, I have some say-so about what you do with this space and my place, but you've got to own it. So I am telling people, use your credit right now. We are in desperate times. We are in desperate times. And I am not over dramatizing. We are in desperate times. Use your credit right now. I don't care where you are in the credit space. Use your credit right now to go out and get assets. I tell people all the time, this is my opinion. By the way, this does not constitute financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Got to lay down that disclaimer. I tell people all the time, the first property, a mortgage is a terrible financial instrument. It is an awful financial instrument. I tell people your first property, if you were asking me, your first property should be an investment property, not a personal property. You should start a business, buy an investment property, have somebody renting it out or flip it, whatever you do, or both. But you should be leveraging your credit into an asset that is generating more income than it costs to maintain it. And that is going to play a big role in when people are coming and taking over people's properties. It is much more difficult for them to take over a property that you own than a property that you're renting. Terry, I see you want to jump in here. I see smoke. I see smoke. Let's go.
I just want to throw my shoe at you because this is just so good, right? It's just so good from a place of, you know, if you have an ear to hear, you gotta hear this, right? Because we're positioning you to not wait for a fallout totally to try to get ready, right? This is an opportunity to get ready before you need to be ready. And I will say, one, we're going to talk about how you can get there by using various instruments, credit instruments, and he's the resident expert to talk about that. Um, but you got to set your mind first, right? Which is why we're talking about it from this angle. Because for me, nothing showed up externally before it showed up internally for me. And I
Mm,
believe that that is critical, right? So
mm,
we're slow walking you so that you can wrap your mind, get in alignment with what is being said. Your mind is going to reject it because you may be thinking about a ton of other things. But you want to tap in and you want to process this, and we're giving you full context so that you can, right? It's not about just going and get a credit card, or it's not about just using credit randomly. It is sitting down with someone and being strategic, and rather those someones are Kevin and I or someone else. It is, how do I take what I have and leverage it to make more? That's what leveraging is about. Leveraging is about gaining more, using what you have to gain more. And when you were talking about this thing of, making your first property an investment property, and, using certain products and, kind of steering away from mortgages, it really resonated. There is a method in real estate investing called the Burr method,
sir.
and it is a powerful method. However, for people whose circumstances don't allow for that method, right? Just because you're able to jump in the real estate game doesn't mean every strategy is for you. What do I mean? If you're not good managing money, if you're not good with being able to keep up with how to pay down debt, or if you're not disciplined enough to allow it to get you in one thing so that you can gain more cash and then be able to go back and pay it off, that may not be the strategy for you, because it can have you further in debt, further stressed out, and particularly if you're not one who prioritizes liquidity. And let's say the market shifts, as we've seen it. Let's say tenants stop paying, as we've seen it. Right now in Philadelphia, they are adding more laws to tenants and giving less protection to landlords, which is so counterproductive because we add to affordable and quality housing. But it used to be a time where there was some accountability for not paying rent. Now they're giving them more leeway almost to not pay rent. It's not just in Philadelphia, it's happening in Richmond, Virginia. It's happening in a lot of places where tenants are having more rights. How does that tie into what I'm saying? If you're top heavy in the Burr method and all of your properties have mortgages, but you have not prioritized liquidity, and the moment you have a vacancy or the tenant decides not to pay, those mortgages are still due. You don't pay them. You can end up in foreclosure. And now the thing that should have been a blessing is a burden, right? So you can have these products and not know how to strategize properly, and it could be counterproductive to you. One of the things I always tell my people to get them in a habit of building liquidity first, like getting a side hustle that turns into a business so that you can have reoccurring clients and reoccurring cash, right? Because if you don't have reoccurring clients and you don't have reoccurring cash, you don't have a business. You have a hobby that's an expensive hobby you trying to keep up with, right? But what it allows you to do is to position you to build bank so that if anything happens, you can respond accordingly. Even if the response is, I'm gonna go over to Dominican Republic, sit on the beach, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. I just need to step out this environment, and then I'm gonna get my mentals up, and then I'll come back. Or if it's okay, I'm gonna buy this property free and clear. I always admonish my clients to always have at least one free and clear property. So if you need to sell it, because everybody is buying and selling, that's a way to leverage that asset, get a large chunk of cash. Because how many know $30,000 go really quickly? People come to me and they be like, "Oh, I can invest with 50,000." Now we can use it. That could be a starting place, but that can't be the end place because money goes quickly, right? And depending on where you are, that could be gone in 2 weeks. You pay a couple bills, you done, right? And so that's why smoke was coming from my head, Mr. Kevin, because it is this, this talking about being able to position yourself financially, and it extends beyond just the traditional conversation of go get a mortgage because it's good debt. I mean, that cooks my grits. That, fuels my fire when I hear people say that, because you don't know who you're talking to. I'll say this, and then Mr. Kevin, please feel free to jump in. um there was some things that were said politically, and people were like, "Oh, that's just, the man in the White House, that's just how he talks." Right? It doesn't mean anything. That's just how he is, right? But here is what wasn't considered: who is on the other end hearing that? You can't account for where people are in their individual lives, mentally, emotionally. Did you join twice? Okay, I see you
Am
on
I?
this. It's okay. Let me see if I can get you off of here. But it doesn't matter per se that, what you think about the individual giving it out, right? It matters too. Another component to that is, who is the receiver? What are their circumstances? Where are they mentally? Where are they financially? Where are they socially? Because not all of this stuff is cookie cutter, right? And you need to be able to strategize, and you need to be able to connect with people that can help you do that. So you mean to tell me, Mr. Kevin, that you are, suggesting, and we know that all of your clients, their results are individual. We'll just qualify that. Everybody has to put in their own effort. But you mean to tell me your suggestion is that people start with an asset first? Now, and if you're saying that, cool. What about somebody who didn't? What is their reprieve right now, and how can they reposition themselves?
Yeah. So leverage the asset that you have. So if you went mortgage first, you went to a personal property first. If it's got equity, take that equity today. Take that equity out. Go get another asset. Go get another investment property. But let's start smaller, right? Terry, we come with these grand ideas, and I want to start smaller because I want to talk about what assets really are, right? And how people can look at assets. So we can talk about, let's talk about, you need to bring in an extra $1,000 a month, right? Go out, spend $1,000, buy yourself a moped or an electric bike, start doing DoorDash, right? Let's say you don't want to be outside riding a bike or riding a scooter, moped. Rent that bike out, $25 a day. Somebody needs a bike that can't afford one, and they want to do DoorDash, and maybe someone in your family, or talk to somebody. Maybe you are the solution that they don't even know they want, right? So use your credit, get $1,000, go buy this bike, e-bike, moped, rent it out. Now you've got an asset, right? You are spending, let's say your monthly payment on that $1,000 is, I'll go very, very generous. Let's say it's $100 a month. It's not going to be, but let's say it's $100 a month. You're renting it out for $25 a day. All people need to do is rent that bike 4 days out of a month, and you've covered your monthly expense. The fifth day, the sixth day, it becomes an asset, right? So start there. Start socking some of that money away. let's go even further, right? Now you've got, let's say you built up some money. Now you pay that total debt off. Now let's go out here and indulge me, if you will, because I'm gonna go through a quick strategy that people can use, right? Now go out and get yourself a Toyota Camry, put that thing at the airport and rent it out on Turo. Turo's doing advertising now, so they're getting ready to explode. If you guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't have a car, if you got a car sitting, or you don't put some money into a car and put it into Turo, because Turo is about to go crazy. That is, for those who don't know, Turo is a way that you can, you are sharing your car. So you own a car, go out and finance that car. You finance a $15,000 Toyota Camry. You are making $3,000 a month renting it out. In 5 months, you'll have the Camry paid off. That's 6 months. That's 7 months. That's pure profit. You keep it going, right? You know the Camry's not going, more than likely, it's not going to break down in 6 months. So now you've got another asset, right? Now you got that out there. Now you can take, by the way, all of those things you're putting underneath your business, and those things are assets in your business. So now you've got revenue and you've got these hard assets, the bike itself plus the car. You got them under your business name. Now you can walk into a bank. You're showing a bank that you are generating $75,000, $85,000, $95,000 worth of revenue, and you've got these two assets. Now you say, I want to borrow $200,000. I'm going to go buy this investment property. You don't have to jump to the top of the mountain, but do that now. Don't wait until your credit score is 850, because 850 is ego, right? Anything from 751 to 850 is ego. You don't get any more benefit. You're not going to get any more. You're not going to get any more interest savings from a 751 to an 850. It's going to all be the same. You're going to get the lowest interest rate in between that. So anything over 751 is ego. Now, ego is something, so I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to minimize it. But the goal is not to have an 850 credit score. The goal is to have an 850 credit score so you can leverage your way into assets. All right? Stock. Go buy stock. If you can learn how to, here's the deal. Get yourself a whole life insurance policy, or index universal life insurance policy. Those are all things that you can leverage into assets. Here's the one other thing, Terry. This is the one other thing, mindset. This is one other thing I want to say to the audience. Credit is not to be siloed. People, stop holding on to it. Black people, we work so hard to get good credit, right? And then we watch other people in our community struggle to build great credit, right? Don't do that. Listen, find a credit card, get one of your credit cards. You've had this credit card 15 years. It has a $25,000 limit on it. You've got an 800 credit score. Go find 10 people in your community, your family, your friends. I'm going to put you onto my credit card as an authorized user. You don't have to give them the account number. You don't have to give them a card. They have no access to use the card. They don't have any access to use the account. All they're going to do is benefit from your great payment history, your length of credit, and the amount of limit that's on that credit card. And listen, some credit cards will let you put an unlimited amount of people on as authorized users. So, but call them and say, listen, what's the maximum amount of authorized users I can put on this credit card? They may tell you 10. Go find 10 people in your family or your community that could benefit from your great credit and give it to them. Give it to them as a gift. Or here's the thing, you can actually charge them for it. Hey, listen, you give me $50 a month. I will give you access to this. I'll put this credit line on your credit report. People are doing that. That's illegal. It's legal to do. People are actually doing that. They're actually selling what they call credit lines. They're selling credit lines as a business. Why can't you do it? And by the way, you're doing that. That's that residual passive income because you're not having to work for it, right? And and now you are spreading the wealth so that those people can go out and get those assets. You guys want to buy a block? You guys want to control what's going on in Washington, D.C.? Get a group of 10 people together who go and buy a block worth of properties, rehab them, put people in them, and now you guys can lobby. You guys can go to Washington. You guys can contribute to campaigns just like everybody else does. And you can lobby for the laws that take place in these places. That's the real power of credit. I'm saying stop sitting on it, y'all. Let's use it. Go ahead, Terry. I'm off my soapbox.
No, so that's good. I do want to distinguish between some of the plays that he's giving you to buy assets. Just understand some of them are long term plays and some of them are short term plays. And so I want you to be careful. If you go and, like, oh, I got equity, I'm going to go pull it out. You want to have either the funds available because your mortgage payment is going to go up. So you want to be able to have cash on hand to either address it or make sure you get into an income producing asset that can produce within 30 days so that you have the difference between what your mortgage payment was and now what your mortgage payment is going to be as a result of you taking that equity out. Right. And so I think Mr. Kevin will be okay if, you guys, he gave a play about getting 10 family members or 10 people who maybe even want to invest in real estate, right? Or invest in something that can produce at higher numbers and kind of quick. It doesn't have to sit in the market for a long length of time. I believe, after he and I talk, we can probably sit down and just have a strategy session with you all after we hear all of the people who what they come into the table with, right? Because it may not work with everyone or it can work with everyone. The point is, again, rather you sit in a community with us or you go into a community, we are giving you the equipment, the tools and the tactics to at least consider, right? To at least consider. I love what you said, and I've said this over the years. Them jokers don't care nothing about our protests and our selective outrage, right? Because they know how to wait us out. They know that, after the talking, we generally don't have the resources to really affect change and to really affect change and to hit people where what they value most is in their pockets. We're not usually able to do that. Case in point, right now, there is a minister behind a Target fast. And, we got people like us who, and not just us, but because we're talking, this is Let's Talk, this is family talk right here. I am talking to us, right? It's like people are, I gotta go in Target. I can't, they can't seem to discipline themselves to not be a total consumer, um, and they don't really understand the connection between us not consuming at this particular place hits them in the pocket. And if we can hit them in the pocket, right, then they deal with us differently. Right now, they're not incentivized to handle us with care. They're not incentivized to treat us respectfully, although we drive their sales, right? There is statistically Black people are primary consumers versus owners. We get an opportunity to flip that script. And we get an opportunity to be in circles and communities that help us do that. And so, it's super important that you decide, right? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the owner that's able to make decisions, or do you want to be consumer where people make decisions for you? Just to bring it down to layman terms, because we are consumers, they put what they want us to buy in our eye gate and ear gate, and they make it so, quote unquote, affordable that we don't explore anything else. One, we don't explore it because we're not in a position of a surplus of resources to be able to buy beyond what we see. And then if they're just pumping us, every day on the TV, do you know there is billions of dollars in marketing because they understand the psychology behind it? They understand the emotionalism. They're banking on people who settle to settle, right? To be able to drive up, their bottom lines. And we're saying, use these instruments, use these products, use these variety of things that's available to you, not as dependency, not as egotistical solely, but for you to leverage to get more and position yourself, to better position yourself, to be able to control your own narrative, right? Like, we need to be able to control our own narrative. I think it was week one where we talked about Black Wall Street, and we talked about it, being in more places than Tulsa, the one that's, everybody is familiar with. There was a strategic design to burn them neighborhoods down. And here is what I believe, that we weren't positioned to rebuild them. We weren't positioned financially. We wasn't positioned mentally. We wasn't positioned socially, right? And I just believe in times of famine and uncertainty, it's an opportunity to reflect and to revisit some things, and to kind of, review, take your own audit to see, first of all, why am I here if you're not in a great place? How could I contribute to longevity, which is what Mr. Kevin, is giving up when we think about bringing folks together and getting our own communal economics together, right? Insurance is a great instrument. It does not yield immediate results, but it can yield results over a lifetime and beyond a lifetime. And so, this is why I jumped in to just say, hey, you want to be strategic, and you want to be leveraged properly. And we're here to offer that level of support to you so that we can build in a way that's strategic, that's solid, that's smart, and sustainable.
And, and Terry, I would not go anywhere without a coach. So if I don't care the smallest to the largest, right? If I'm talking about, I gave you some, as you said, some quick strategies, and then some midterm strategies and some long-term strategies. But I'm going into every one of those strategies with a coach. I want to know, if I'm renting out an e-bike, I want to know who's rented out, who's got 10 e-bikes on the street, and I want them to coach me how they got to those 10 e-bikes. If I'm going Turo, who's got 10? I use the power of 10. It's the decimal system, right? We're in the decimal system, the power of 10. Who's got 10 Turo cars on the street making money? I want to talk to them. Tell me how you did what you did. I want to talk to Terri Brown. I want her to tell me, you got 10 properties. I want to know how to get to those. I'm not going to go out here. So what I'm saying to you guys is, what I'm saying to you is what I'm saying to you are simple things that you can do. They need a coach to help you execute. Don't just go out there because I said go get Turo. My barber does Turo. He's got 12 cars on the street. It's a job for him. So but you've got to, and he's made some mistakes. Go out and get a coach. Don't try to do any of these things. If you want stock, you want life insurance, go out and get an expert who is in that space, been in that space, and has done at least 10 things in that space to help you understand how to do it correctly. That way you can leverage that way you can leverage people's intellectual property, the intellectual capital, so that it can short hop your way into ownership. But the point of this, Terri, the real point of this was, we're talking about credit, and we're talking about not waiting until you've got a pristine credit score to get yourself into assets. And we're talking about that in the context of what is happening across the country. You brought up the redistricting. Redistricting is so that they can keep power, so that they can make money plays. There are people who are, again, the political regime says, I want people in place who have the power and authority to disband the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. By the way, the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, is also responsible for, you guys may recall that Joe Biden made it a law. He had an executive order that made it, the credit cards couldn't charge you more than $8 late fees. Well, that's gone because the political regime said, I'm in bed with the banks. We want the banks to be able to charge whatever they want. And the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau was the organization that you went to if a bank charged you, if a credit card charged you more than $8 in late fees. This Consumer Finance Protection Bureau was the organization that would come in and say, hey, you've broken the law. There are some steep fines and penalties. Well, the political regime has put powers in place that have disbanded, all but disbanded. And I want to say it clearly, they are still an organization, so they're not disbanded. They are just working with a skeleton crew. So the amount of claims that they can process has dramatically diminished. So I'm saying people are putting people in position so that these money plays can be made, and you've got to get into a position of power just like them, or else you're going to be underfoot. You're going to be underfoot. And so all I'm saying is to you is, you can't wait. You cannot afford to wait. The time is now. The time is now. And if you're not in a position to get any assets because of your personal credit, go get a credit coach. This is not a shameless plug. I'm a credit coach. Go get a credit coach that can help you strategize how to get there. And if not through your own efforts, through the efforts of someone else in your family or friends or your community.
Yeah, I mean, you got questions about your medical health, you go to a doctor. You got questions about your car, you go to a mechanic. Right? Oftentimes, and I get it, this environment that we're in, you got overnight wonders, you don't know, who to trust. But you let's start thinking, y'all. Let's start having conversations. um no doubt, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant was able to be as prolific as he was. One, because he tapped Michael Jordan not only for his basketball acumen, but also his business acumen. Kobe Bryant left a legacy that cannot be erased. And what my point is, right now, you need to be in environments and pursuing it. And I started off by saying, because here is where I am. And this is how I've been having consultations. I'm not here to twist nobody's arm. I know what I know. I know what results that I've gotten. I've never been a salesperson, and I'm not. My assignment that the Lord has given me is to expose the opportunity. Rather not you tap in with me, I don't even care. More so that I want you to tap in with somebody to get these results, because I do care about us as a whole and about us as a community, and how we're in these communities and not really affecting as much change as we can, right? And so, listen, there is no, you, everybody needs somebody, right? Because if you could do it on your own, you would have done it by now. um, and I subscribe to trust but verify. The point is, we want you to get in the way. We want you to get in the flow. We want you to get in spaces where these conversations are happening, so that you're not caught off guard, right? So that you're not so in a stupor that you look up and it's caught you by surprise. No, there are things that you can do now in manageable chunks to ensure that when it gets to, maybe to Mr. Kevin's point, you know, even some of these laws, right? They've been enacted, but it's going to take some cycles to get to fully be rolled out on a day-to-day basis, like live in real time. They started thinning out the department. If there is an effort to totally disband, that may take a minute, but you don't have that minute. While today is today, we need to be doing the things that we need to do. And this is not the time to be in a stupor or to be looking away and to be like, I'm so tired, right? You know where you are and where you need to be. And we are here to just amplify the conversation and to bring these tactics and these tools. As Mr. Kevin said, it's not humdrum, because as long as we got breath, and as long as you have people who are still here to guide and to direct, as long as you still have a will, as long as God is still God, right? Um, we are one up, but don't squander the opportunities. Seize on them right now, right? That's a lot of people squander them. And so, Mr. Kevin, is there anything else right now that you want to share with folks on how to go from paycheck, or how to go from deal to deal, how to go from, waiting on, a pension payment, or waiting on your finances, to really going to prosperity and really leveraging the variety of tools we're going to be talking about a variety of tools on this channel. Right now, our series is credit, because for me and Mr. Kevin, you can tell me if this is not an accurate statement. It is low hanging fruit, and it is an opportunity to be able to leverage it in many different ways. And so we're starting here. Um, but we're going to be going over some other tools and some other tactics. But right, start here and then go to the next one, and then go to the next one. Prepare yourself. I'm going to say this, and Mr. Kevin, you can jump in. Right now, I'm really pushing international real estate investing for many different reasons. There are so many benefits. You can buy beyond borders right now. And you can look this up. The dollar is weakening over here. It has been happening for some time. Some of the processes are easier overseas, which is why I became an international real estate investing agent. So that I could be able to facilitate those beyond borders. We're having an information session August 25th, 7 p.m. The link will be in the chat. You want to register. My point is, you want to get in environments that can help you be in a position to make a play. It's one thing to not keep your eyes and ears peeled open, or, to hear and to see, and then letting things just pass you by, versus at least getting in the rooms where things are happening. You'd be surprised. One of the things that I'm going to push is one of the things Mr. Kevin mentioned is JV partnerships, right? And giving you the attorneys to help you set that up, so that now we pool our resources together to be able to do something that we may or may not been able to do on our own. My point is, you want to be in spaces that can at least put you in a position to make a play. It's one thing to be on the sidelines. You ain't never getting in the game. You can't make a play because you can't run on the field and then run to the end zone, versus being on the field and being around the people that can help you make a play, right? Mr. Kevin. So, August 25th, you want to stay tapped in. I put the link in. Go register at Built to Last and sign up for all of these opportunities that are going to be coming through you and for you, because we are full court pressing this. And I thank God for Mr. Kevin to partner with me. This is a partnership. We are looking at how we can bring our two worlds together, because we don't care nothing about ego. We are trying to uplift the masses. So we don't get on and have conversations just so he and I can talk about how wonderful we are in our respective industries. That's for the birds. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? We're pulling ourselves together, using our platforms together so that we can reach more, which is why I'm telling you, you need to be like, sharing, and commenting. You need to ask your questions, right? People pay tens of thousands of dollars to get questions answered from experts. We are the experts in the room. So don't, people say, well, I ain't wasn't available or nobody helped me. I was going to say the devil is a liar. Y'all know I'm a whole Jesus girl, but that is the truth. That is a lie. We're making it available. And if you are here and you want to see not only your finances increase and you be positioned, not just the one helping everybody else, but that other family members are empowered, right, to not just solely lean on you. These are the conversations, these are the rooms that we really need to prioritize, and definitely in this season with this political and economic landscape that we are experiencing present day. Mr. Cabin?
Change your mindset. Go. All I want you to do is practice. Credit is not the goal. Credit is the tool. Learn how to use the tool. That's it. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Mr. Kevin is short on words because he's trying to get back to that beach. He ain't fooling nobody. He trying to get back to that breeze and the serenity. And so he gave you guys a quick hit. But no, again, I mentioned this. Is the word I subscribe to says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And in order for us to transform our lives, it's going to be so important to transform our minds. If you have checked out on anything that we've said, you're not going to be able to experience it externally. And so, what he's saying is, let's rewire our minds so that we can experience full manifestation. Listen, all of this stuff is available. It's not for the other guys, it's not for the other culture, it's not, not attainable. We are living examples and witnesses that this can be. It is a thing, but how big is your want to? How willing are you to elevate your mind? How willing are you to, say, I'm going to feed my mind today by re-listening to this podcast? Go back and listen to the channel. Go back and research the things that we've said. If you haven't gone over to Built to Last yet, go and sign up so that you can be in the know of upcoming events and opportunities that Mr. Kevin has to help you. We may do a pop-up session where he does a live session on some, credit. Go pull your credit or go pull out your bills and do certain things. Who knows, right? But we're warning you. And that sounds kind of hard. We are informing you. We are advising you. That had a negative connotation. I don't like the way things feel too much anymore. But this is the time, you all. And you can go from paycheck to prosperity in every area of your life. I promise you, you can. And so, with that, I've given you where you can find me. I'm going to mention it again. And Mr. Kevin, I want you to share with the people. But right now, you should be going to LinkedIn. I'm going to ask everyone to stop what they're doing. Go to LinkedIn, and you can find me, Terri Brown Taylor, on LinkedIn, and you can find Built to Last Solutions on LinkedIn. Mr. Kevin, LinkedIn. What's your handle on
Yep.
LinkedIn?
We are on, the name is Premisian, Premisien, and we're on every platform out there with the name Premisian,
Wait a
Premisien.
minute. I'm gonna need you to slow down, Speedy. I know you're trying to get back to that beach, but I'm typing. Okay, P-E-R.
Premi,
Oh,
yep,
P-R-E-M-I.
Sien, and that's Premisian. And you can find us on LinkedIn with that name, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Fanbase, YouTube, any one of those platforms. You just put in the name Premisian, website, Premisian.com. Find us on any one of those platforms. You'll see us talking about all of these same things. And go get a credit coach. If you need real estate, go. You're looking at a real estate coach. Go get your coaches, put them in place, and put your coaches in place before the game, right? You don't go get a coach when the game starts. You're not in the game and then you're looking for a coach, right? The coach shows up before the games, right? Go get your coaches.
And I'm just going to add to that. That was a good analogy, and that was factual. But be willing to do what the coach says. Right? You did not get into this space right now. Mr. Kevin and I are working on a few things. Some things came a little slow. There was some bumps in the road, and it wasn't to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It was, how do we get back on track? How do we keep going? What is the long-term goals? And my why is ever before me, right? And so that's just, I want to put that out there. Sometimes we want things that happen overnight. Now, the benefit of a coach is that your learning curve is less steeper. You can get to things a little bit quicker, but you still have to get in and run. The coach can't get in. That's called a penalty. The coach is on the field. That's too many men on the field, and the man throw the flag, and then that was that. So it's a violation. We can't even legally do some things without you, right? So you still have to get in the game. You still have to run through the plays. And even when it's hard, I grew up, college and high school, I played basketball. And as I was a what was I? I was a captain. I was one of the team captains. And one of the things with us, just the captains, my coach always reiterated, remind your folks to play through the play. So even if the play look
Mm.
lost, you got to still play through the play. Because here's the thing, if you give up, it's done. You don't even position yourself to be able to regroup when it looks like it collapsed. What it'll also do, because nobody thinks you're going to play through the play, they give up, and now it even makes the play, not only keeps it alive, but it allows you to score, right? And so I've carried that out throughout my life. I play through the play, even when it's hard, even when things happen. And that's not something you can necessarily be just taught to do. Some of the things, you have to work this out. You have to be so resolute about what your end goal is, that regardless of what it takes to get there, your position is, it gotta work or it gotta work. Like that's just gotta work, right? There's no plan B to tank out. So with that, we're going to sign off for tonight. We do want you to take heed to some of these things that we're given. If there's some strategies here that were mentioned and you need further clarification, I am going to give you an assignment. Go back, listen to it, type it in the chat. We look at these chats, right? And so if you don't have a question now, but may have a question on the replay, or if you're a replayer, type it in the chat. Less because it's not only can benefit you, but it can benefit others. We want to leverage this thing called credit. It's called other people's money. You may have seen it. You may have seen it plastered all over the place, but we want to be able to actually implement it. So go back and listen. Not only that, we will be back here next Tuesday, same time, same back channel, with additional tactics and tools. We gave you our handle so that you can sign up for newsletters or just see other ways that you can get into the zone quicker. I do want to also give another announcement. I have a special edition, a birthday edition part two. Last week, as you guys know, I was supposed to be on as a guest, and someone else was hosting. Things didn't materialize last week, but because I played through the plays, then we're having part two tomorrow. So if you're around, we're going to be dropping some wisdom nuggets. We're going to be dropping some things that are nuanced, some things that help you live. You know, my objective, the assignment that is on my life is to help you get out of the position of living in stress, strain, struggle, and survival, but to get you into a place to live, to be, and to thrive, right? That's the quality of life that we are going after and we desire. And so, listen, you got a lunch hour, you say, I got to work tomorrow. Well, prioritize your lunch to be on this YouTube channel tomorrow. So again, you can stay where the fire is. You can stay where information is given. You know, you hear people say gatekeeping. Well, if you think somebody is gatekeeping, then you want to get in spaces where people ain't gatekeeping, right? So get in. And I want you guys to do me a favor. I didn't have a birthday party this year. I want you to invite people so that I can have people to celebrate with. Not only I can be a blessing to them and I can serve them, but they could be a blessing to me as well. And so tomorrow, 12 o'clock, can somebody put that in the chat? Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, we're going to be right here at the Terri Talks official on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So you don't want to miss out. All right, Mr. Kevin, I know you need to get back to that sand. I know you gave one nugget, but I want you to give just one final word and then we will sign off for the night. I want you to give one to the women and one to the men. And don't cheat by saying, well, this could serve both of them. No, I want you to give a nugget specifically to the men in our audience and specifically to the women in our audience. Is that okay, Mr. Kevin?
Sure. Sure. Trust who you trust trusts. That's for your women. Women, in my experience, women have a more challenging time giving up their security. Understandable. So trust who you trust trusts. In other words, trust but verifies what you said, but I want you to find somebody you trust, have them tell you who they trust to be your coach. You don't have to go out and find somebody and just start talking to people in the street. Find somebody you trust. Say, have you worked with a credit coach? Have you worked with a real estate coach? If so, who is that person? What results have you gotten? That's for the women. For the men, listen to your women. Listen to your women. Women get active. Women get active. Whenever there's been if you look at any movement, if you look at the movement, the catalyst for every movement, particularly in the Black community, has always been a group of women. So men, listen to your women. They will get you active. They will get you moving. Women get us to go to the doctors when we don't want to. Women get us to go to school when we don't want to. And women get us to go into civil rights movements when we don't want to. Men, listen to your women.
Well, that was powerful coming from a man. Well, thank you, Mr. Kevin. Listen, to all our guests out there, thank you for joining us tonight. We know you could be anywhere. But again, this is the channel that you need to be tapped into. And I'm going to challenge you all to bring a guest next week, and make sure that they are getting the same information that you are getting. You never know. And don't be doing this selective, figuring out if people, they're going to show or not. That is not our responsibility. Our job is to expose it so that it can lead to expansion. If they don't show up, you did your part. But don't be opting people out, right? You got to be able to give people an opportunity to grow with you, right? To grow where you're going. And so, with that, Mr. Kevin, thank you so much. Miss Sharita said, enjoy the beach. Miss Doris
Thank
said,
you.
thank you for that. She loved your truth. Thank you for sharing it. And we want you to go and continue to eat up that good old sun. We appreciate you. We value you as the man in the house for tonight. And we'll see everyone back tomorrow at noon for a special edition. You don't want to miss it. We're gonna be giving out some stuff, so you want to make sure you're giving it. For my birthday, I'm giving out stuff. And then next Tuesday, Mr. Kevin will be back here, same time, same band channel, to give you more tools to edify you and to help you build. Build and get cash flow today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. God bless you all and have a great night. Bye, Mr.
Good night,
Kevin.
guys. Bye bye. Thank you, guys.